think somebody told us about
Good evening, everyone, brothers and sisters. How are we doing tonight? Good to hear that. Good to hear that. Okay, so this evening, do something a little different, or not different, same structure, but I'm going to do a couple of songs that may be newer to some of you guys. We have been doing a Wednesday night service where I'm teaching some new songs typically, and since we're all meeting in here, David Kale let me teach some ones that I've been doing. So I'm not going to necessarily teach them, we're just going to sing them. There are some that are like call and response, or our first one is like a call and response one that I have led on a Sunday morning that some of you may know, and then the other one is your classic verse chorus structure that I think you guys can get the hang of when we get to the end, and hopefully some people that have been in our class are here this evening so they can sing it out if they know it. So the first one is called You're Worthy of My Praise. If you know it, sing it out. I will worship with all of my heart. I will praise you with all of my strength, all my strength. I will seek you all of my days. I will follow all of your ways, all your ways. I will give you all my worship. I will give you all my praise. You alone I long to worship. You alone are worthy of my praise. I will bow down, hail you as King. I will serve you, give you everything, give you everything. I will lift up my eyes to your throne. I will trust you. I will trust you alone. Trust you alone. I will give you all my worship. I will give you all my praise. You alone I long to worship. You alone are worthy of mine. I will give you all my worship. I will give you all my praise. You alone I long to worship. You alone are worthy of my praise. Lord, you're worthy of my praise. Lord, you're worthy of my praise. Amen. This next one is called Behold Our God. And it's verse, chorus. Actually, there's two verses, and then the chorus, and then a verse, and then a bridge, and then a chorus at the end. So, if you know it, sing along, and I think you guys will pick it up if you don't. Who has held the oceans in his hands? Who has numbered every grain of sand? Kings and nations tremble at his voice. All creation rises to rejoice. Who has given counsel to the Lord? Who can question any of his words? Who can teach the one who knows all things? Who can fathom all his wonders?
Joey Barrier, who is associated with the Double Springs congregation in Alabama, south of Florence. We're glad to have his wife Joanne and son Abraham with us tonight. And Mom and Dad, Wayne and Janet, are back in Florence, and the rest of the Barrier clan, a sizable group who is a mission work family. I'm glad to know them, been associated with them for many years. And Joey was telling me recently that this work that he's been involved in extends back about a quarter of a century. And they've been involved in work in Burma and India and Nepal and points east, a lot of Asia work going on there. And he's going to give us a report on what this group has been doing over a great part of the world through many media and radio and just going out and preaching in the bushes and well, I'll just let him tell the story. Thank you and welcome, Joey.
Do I have to do? No, I don't. Okay. We're on. We're live. Thank y'all so much for having us tonight. We're glad to be here. Mom and Daddy say hello. They wish they could be here. Daddy needed to go home. I can't remember if he was actually scheduled to be here to the report and I was somewhere else. But anyway, we had to move a bunch of things around because he had to go home and take some tests. And he did those this afternoon. And hoping all those, pray that he gets good results from that. And I don't have to tell you, I'm very Southern. So we'll just go ahead and get over and address the fact that I'm very country. And so anyway, if y'all don't understand what I'm saying, just raise your hand. Anyway, and I'm going to say Daddy a whole lot. So Daddy is Wayne Barrier. That's who I'm talking about. But thank y'all so much. We have had a good year. The last few years have been crazy because of COVID. And most of us, we're all done with COVID, right? We haven't had any protocols and precautions and all that kind of stuff for a long time, but we're still getting that. This week, what I've been doing is setting up tests for us to get all of our COVID tests before we go back overseas, and we have to do it at a stop midway on the trip, and it's quite complicated, and travel is very complicated still over there, but that's about as difficult as it gets for us. But the work, with all that going on, the work is still going great. We're told to go into all the world no matter what's going on. So we've got economic situations, political situations, the COVID situation. It's all there, but we still have been told to go into all the world. So that's why we do what we do. That's where we're going, where we go. In order to reach the whole world, we try to use certain methods. We use mass evangelism. So we'll use radio, television, literature, internet, any way we can possibly get that message out to as many people as possible. We have points of operation in every one of these countries, and our directors, they're really the ones that are responsible for physically doing those programs. But we fund them and we help them and guide them along in those processes. Next thing that happens is after you broadcast something on the radio or put it on TV, you start getting responses, thousands upon thousands of responses. It's real crazy to say this number. I feel like I'm lying to you, but when you start going down the list and adding it all up, 300,000 people all over the world and all these programs that we're doing are writing in, texting in, sending letters, emails, whatever. They're contacting our directors and asking for more study. So all this literature starts going out. We study with them using literature because there's just not enough time in the day for these people to actually physically go to these people. They're going to be getting calls all over their country, and so it's impossible for them to do that. So we use literature, and then through that, it ends up being certain ones that really, after going through the whole study, they want to obey the gospel, and then that's when we go on the campaigns and get out there to them. With that, about 3,000 people this last year, a little over 3,000 people last year obeyed the gospel. And so that's about what we're looking at. So that's a normal year for us. Before COVID, we had gotten up to around 3,600 just about every year. So we're starting to get back into what's more normal in that. But anyway, that's the next phase, is doing those campaigns, personal Bible studies, seminars, gospel meetings, whatever you need to do once you get to those places. Then the next problem that we have is we've got all these new Christians. What a great problem to have. All these new Christians scattered around all these different countries. Sometimes it could be a group of 5 or 6 people in one city. Sometimes it's one person. It's the only person for 100 miles that's a New Testament Christian. So we want to train them, strengthen them, teach them how to teach the people that are around them, teach them how to operate as a New Testament church. And so that's why we have schools. And that's usually what we do. That's what our roles are when we go over there. We teach in the schools. That's what Brother Damon does when he goes over there. He teaches in the schools. And he also does some of that campaign work as well. That's fun to go on those campaigns. But anyway, we have preacher, teacher, leader training schools, and anybody that wants to come to the school can come, and we will train them. And that strengthens the church, usually results in more churches being planted. This is everywhere we have a major a radio or television program. I said radio or television. The only TV, well, I don't know if this is going to work. Well, the one in India is the only one that we have TV. Everything else is radio. But that's where we're broadcasting from. So we're reaching most of the world when we do that. First country we want to talk about is Burma. Burma is close to our heart. It's close to Brother Damon Vincent's heart. He's been there how many times? A bunch of times. Yeah. And so that's everybody that's ever been with us to Asia, that's always our favorite place to go. And so this last couple of years actually have been pretty tough because we've been locked out of Burma to do what we normally do. Now in this last year, my parents were able to get over there. One of the elders at Double Springs was able to go over there, and then my brother was able to go there. So we're able to get back into Burma. We're not able to teach in the school, but y'all help us with the Myanmar Bible College. It's basically the Myanmar Bible College on the road. So that's how we've been doing it. Because of all the fighting that's going on, they're in the midst of a civil war. And so the down at the bottom star is the school that y'all support. And they normally would all come down to it, but because of all the fighting in that country, it's impossible for them to get buses and go through there. So we have a couple of men who are flying to each of those stars that you see on there, and they'll fly up there, and then they're doing campaigns and doing sessions on the road. So the school is still operating. It's just operating different than it was before. And I'll show you pictures of all this. This is Brother Joe Sane, one of the older members of the congregation. I couldn't remember how old he was. I just texted my parents a few minutes ago. He's 87 years old. He's the guy that understood their laws, got everything going in that country for us, understood that Christianity was illegal in that time, and he knew that we could have a Bible college, a legal Bible college. So he's the guy that understood their laws. The rules were you couldn't speak against their government, you couldn't convert people, and you could only teach what the Bible taught. So we said, okay, we'll do that. And so they did not understand the nature of the Bible. They didn't understand that it is living and powerful. And so we only teach what the Bible teaches. And guess what? People are converted. So he understood that. So that's why we've been able to have the school all these years. And he also speaks a specific language that a group of people that live in the central part of the country. This is his son Amos. He works with him, but he actually is a part of the National League for Democracy, which is the group that was overthrown a couple of years ago. And the old military regime took over that country, although National League for Democracy won their election. And so they started assassinating all members of this party, all members of that political party. And so he's been in hiding for the last 2 years. He's doing fine. He's okay, but he's in hiding. So he's unable to go out and do the things that he normally does. And he's planted several congregations up in this area. This is one of them right here. Here he is teaching people and baptizing them. He helped us get our work started up in northern Burma. up where they speak the Lisu language. That's also the work that got us into China. So this family right here is instrumental in getting everything done in that country. And these are pictures from those campaigns. Another leader, it was 2 years ago, Brother Tin Lin passed away. I believe he passed away just a day or two before we made the report 2 years ago. I remember standing up here trying to talk about Tin Lin. It was quite difficult. But his work still continues to go strong. I'll show you videos of that in just a little bit. But anyway, the work on the India side, that's where this is. And this is where Brother Damon has traveled. And we actually went up here together several years back. And this work continues to go really strong. There's a lot of fighting. We hear just every few days we get reports of hearing gunfire and bombs and all kinds of stuff around. But it's amazing the things that they're still doing over there. And the guy that's really holding all this together, his name is Brother Philip. He's from Tin Lin's hometown, lives in Yangon, but he's the guy that's making all the flights and making all the extra trips and going all over the place. He is campaigning all over that country, and he's really, really got a lot on his shoulders, and he feels that, and he's really stepped up. And that's what you want to see. Every missionary, a lot of people do things different ways, but I hear a lot of missionaries who'll go into a place and their goal is to turn things over to them. And this COVID situation and this political situation with their civil war going on has forced us to be completely out of it. Now, we can talk to them, we can help fund the things that are going on, but they're the ones that are doing it. And they have stepped up, and they are really doing things. One of the things that they really started doing this last year was they started looking in their own neighborhoods a lot more, because we were unable to go out and do the schools that we normally did. So they had their first VBS, and this is the first VBS at the Maubee congregation. And when they go all out. They go all out. And this little guy right here, he got tired, and then you can see here, they went late into the night, and he couldn't handle it again. And then here he is. I guess this is the next day. But anyway, these are pictures that they sent back to us because we weren't able to be there. I don't know exactly what they were doing that wore him out so much, but he does not have trouble sleeping. But this is the congregation that meets there now. There wasn't a congregation that met at the Maubee school building, but now there is a congregation that meets there, and it's growing. That's what's awesome about this, is this came out of COVID. And there have been many other blessings that have came through this awful thing. Another thing, a lot of these churches are building church buildings. This church here, they built their building. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't even know where this is. You may have been in this area, but this was built after we hadn't been to Burma since this was built. It's pretty new. And but it's somewhere up in the north, and Philip was on campaign. They asked him to come to their dedication ceremony, but you see how big the building is. It's a teeny tiny little thing. It's really just a closet for the songbooks and the Bibles and the benches. They're actually meeting outside. They all sit outside and worship. But anyway, they showed up in all their local clothes. I say I didn't know where it is. It's in the Kachin state right here. They're wearing the Kachin clothing. And every state has their own language, and they've got their own colors, and they've got their own traditional clothing. So they're really dressed up for this event. More baptisms. Burma, amidst all the chaos, is doing great. It's doing great. And you're not going to see a lot in the news about what's going on over there. It's actually really, really, really bad, but they're doing great. So continue to pray for them. As they're faced with all the obstacles that are in front of them, they are pushing through. They're taking great risk in everything that they do, and it's not that Christianity is illegal anymore. It's great risk because of the fighting that's going on. We've heard stories of them up in Tin Lin's home congregation having classes when guys would be running down the road with people chasing after them, soldiers chasing after them, shooting guns at them, and they jump inside the door and hide inside. It'd be like somebody busted in the back door, hid there for a second, people run by, and then they jump up and run and go the opposite direction. So that's happening in the middle of a worship service. So it's just dangerous over there. The next work is China. This border, the China-Burma border, is how we've been able to get in. It's still closed. We had some guys, Brother Jay Ati just went up there on campaign, and a couple of other guys went with him. And they went up there because the border was supposed to open on a specific date, and they waited around, campaigned in different places along the border, but it never did open up. But they're hoping that it's going to open up pretty soon. But we have planted a lot of congregations that are on the China side, and as I was saying before, like all the people in Burma, they are operating on their own. They're faithful. They're doing what they need to do. We just haven't been able to come down and train new workers at this school, but we have had a couple of times where they've been able to train at the border. So they would come there, a couple of workers would come there and they would train. What we've been doing is Jay Ati is still producing literature. So this is Jay Ati and his family. They all help with this process. Just got a message that their son is wanting to come to Heritage to train, and we'll see. I have no idea how difficult that's going to be, but I imagine it's going to be very hard to get him over here. But if we can, he will be a great asset to the work and continue with this work. But they do a lot of translation work, translating the Voice of Truth and other magazines and other books, and then sending them up into northern Burma and hand carrying them back into China. And we get so many responses or invitations for them to come speak to different groups that are interested in studying God's Word. So that's a wide open mission field right there. And we have trained a lot of guys that are already on that side. So whether the border is open or not, it's still working. Next work is Nepal. We work out of Kathmandu, but we're planting congregations all over. It's up in these mountains right here. Somebody asked me if this is our school. That is not our school. That would be a massive school right there. But anyway, it is up in the mountains. Everything that you do is there. This is the Nepal Bible College. We did this on Zoom for a little while when everything was shut down with COVID. And then they started meeting outside, and then we started doing classes in person. And we've been able to do this since January of last year. So things have been completely normal since then. So we're dealing with a year and a half of completely normal in Nepal. And lots of campaigns. They campaign just about every few weeks. They're going to a different place and focusing on encouraging the older churches in the east and then planting new congregations in the west. And so this one right here is on the west, I believe. But anyway, pray for that work. It's going really well. I plan to go back over there in October, and I also plan to go back to Burma in October and a few other places as well. India being another one that I'll make a short stop in India. We do have 2 programs there. Those works are going well. We do TV work in North India, and it's just unbelievable how much they have to do to keep up with the demand of all the people that are writing in, asking them to study with them. They get 40 new people to study with every week. So every week, 40 new people. And so that number just keeps piling up. And so they have just an unbelievable job of getting to all the people that are wanting to study the Bible. So we went in the midst of COVID. It was a big wave when we got there, and we had to put on the hazmat suits and all that stuff just to get in there. But New Delhi is just absolutely insane how many people there are in that city alone. It's over 30 million people, 33 million, I believe, in the actual city limits. And it's in a space the size of a county. You've got as many people as the entire southeast, all crammed into a space the size of a county, just all on top of each other. I'm amazed that they can get anything done. It is just chaos, but it's organized chaos. Anytime you walk outside, you can get fresh fruit. You can get bananas. You can get anything that you want. But you're also going to see monkeys jumping around all over the place. They have monkeys there like we have squirrels. And they say that the monkeys, if you don't lock your windows, they will get into your house, and guess what they steal? Bananas. They actually steal bananas. They said they have a bad monkey problem, stealing the bananas. So stereotypical monkeys over there. But anyway, so there all that's going on. Cows in the streets. And you've got this woman washing clothes, and this kid right here, I think, is going to the bathroom in that same water. And you think, why in the world would you do that? That's the only water there is. And that's the only place that they have to do this. They live on the street, and thousands upon thousands of people move into that city every day looking for opportunity, thinking that they're going to be able to find something and make something of themselves by coming into this big city. And they get there and realize that it's not that way. You're just in the midst of chaos, and there's no infrastructure to take care of it. In the midst of all that, we have the church where Vinay David is preaching and teaching. And these people are looking for opportunity, and these people are looking for answers, and these people are confused and they're hurting, and we do have the answer. And so Vinay is there preaching on TV and then holding gospel meetings and doing a really good job. As his uncle Sonny preaches and is an evangelist, and his dad Francis on the right. They all work together. They do a really good job. Here's a baptism up there. That's the church building. They have a real nice building. They built it quite a few years ago now. This is a new congregation that was planted there in Delhi, so that they are getting the word out there, and even in their own city, but it's all over North India that they are targeting. Next work is Bangalore. This is P.R. Swami, the guy in the pink shirt right there in the middle. And the green shirt standing there next to Daddy. And he's 87 years old, still going strong. Unbelievable evangelist. One of the best speakers I've ever seen. And he will move you when he's not even speaking in your language. You have no idea what he's talking about, but it's very moving. And you can watch a crowd and you can tell exactly what he's talking about by the reaction that they have to hearing the gospel being preached. Unbelievable what he's done. We're able to visit some other works down there. This is not our work. This is in Andhra Pradesh, but we're able to go over there and visit with them. This congregation had 800 members, so that the church is strong in that state. And that's why we don't work there. We don't want to work on top of something else that's already there. But we're trying to get our congregations. We're in an earlier stage of the work, and we're trying to get our congregations to one day be 800-member congregations. Next work is Vietnam. I'll be going there with my parents in October as well. We work out of Ho Chi Minh City and out of Hanoi. We've got the Vietnam Bible College. This is a new building that was built a couple of years ago. They have classes in there. That's my brother Jeremy. He taught a class there on prison epistles, and he was telling them about Paul writing his letters from prison and how, that's the reason that he actually wrote it, because he couldn't actually go to that place and speak to them. And so we asked him, I said, how many of y'all have ever been to prison? He said, five people raised their hand. 5 people had been to prison, and it wasn't because they're drug dealers or thugs or anything like that. It is because they are Christians, New Testament Christians. Christianity is illegal, and they had done jail time, prison time for that. And there are a lot of those older members, and that's what they do. They're in and out of jail, or have been in and out of jail all their life. It's gotten better, though. It's gotten a lot easier. It's still illegal, but they kind of look the other way, and they know things that they can and cannot do, and things they can and cannot say in public, and things like that. So we're kind of learning the system and learn how to work in it and make sure that we can do this easier. Even though things are a lot better and they've got this brand new building, they still have baptistry that can collapse and fold up and take away so that nobody will see that they have it. This is Brother Min. He's the guy that directs everything. He was in the South Vietnamese Army, fought alongside U.S. troops, was baptized, taught and baptized by U.S. soldiers. And so once we pulled out of the war in '75, he's been doing this work, and he's been in and out of jail all his life as he's been doing this work. Our work goes up near Da Nang all the way down to Vung Tau. We have a training program that we do in Vung Tau. Campaigns in Phan Rang, and I'll tell you, I just saw pictures. I just got a report from the guys in Vietnam this week, and I had pictures from Phan Rang from their VBSs. Look just like this. So I can tell you that this picture is from a year ago. I can tell you they're still going strong. They're still going strong, and saw a bunch of different groups where they had just got back from campaign. So all that work is going really, really well. Bible studies up in Hanoi. We've got a small group up there. This is our school. We meet in a hotel room there. More baptisms. This is Brother An. He's Vietnamese. Came to Heritage Christian University. Got his Master of Divinity, and is back in Vietnam. When he went back home, it was in the middle of COVID, so they had to quarantine in this little room right here for a few weeks. He caught dengue fever, almost died. Dengue fever is pretty rough, apparently, from what I've heard from several people that have had it, and this one just about got him. But he's better. He's doing a lot better now. This picture was actually taken after, so he's already back to work, doing a really good job. And next work is the Philippines. My family, my little family, the 5 of us will be going to the Philippines. It'll be Abraham right there. It'll be his first time to ever go to Asia, so we're really excited about that. So we'll be leaving next Wednesday. We'll be halfway across the ocean on our way to the Philippines at this point next Wednesday. But we've got 3 different works there. Brother June Arcia, we'll be seeing him probably in Cebu, but he has a work up in the north, up in Virac, has a Bible study center. We've helped him get all this going up there, radio programs daily, preaches over the radio in that area, and that does really well. Edwin Enso, this is where we're going to go. We're going to go to the island of Samar and teach in his school. He was trained in the Philippine Institute of Biblical Studies, which is our school. He moved back to Samar, is doing such a good job that we started funding him, and a few others are funding him as well to do this program. So he has a lot of programs that he's doing, and he's training a lot of people. He texted me the other day and said, "What do you want to eat when you're over here?" And I said, "Anything that's cooked on the left, but it don't matter how you do it on the right, I'm not going to eat that." So, not trying to be picky, but that's a little bit chewy. But anyway, he does feed you like a king. He said, "What about king crab? Do you like king crab?" I said, "Yes, that would be wonderful." So we'll be eating Red Lobster type meals while we're over there and paying nothing for it. They just go out and catch it, and it's free. So anyway, we're excited to work with Edwin. He's been working with us for quite a few years, but I've never actually been to his island. I've only taught and trained, in Cebu when he was a student there. But this is a Samar Bible School. We just doubled the student load there. To let you understand how you double the student load, we just doubled the money. He's doing really, really good, has so many people that he's getting out to and reaching that are wanting to be members of this school, but we just didn't have the money to do it. And you think, how come you can't just have somebody go there? Well, they have to get there. They don't live on that island. You have to get them over there, and they don't have the money to make a trip to another island and do that whenever they want to. So we bring them in, we train them, we feed them while they're there, and then they go back home. They keep their day jobs, they keep doing what they do, but we bring them in for certain periods of time. But he does lots of campaigns, lots of videos and pictures like this come in on Facebook every couple of weeks. He sends me all kinds of pictures of all the things that are going on. Children's programs, that's what my daughter Gracie will be doing, and Anna will be teaching the women. Noah will be working with youth activities, and Abraham will be doing whatever, helping whoever he wants to. And then he also has weekly meetings with police officers. They ask him to do morality training. So the local police has asked him to come in and study with their officers once a week. He also studies with soldiers. I think I had a picture of soldiers in last year's report that he was studying with. So he's a busy man, but we're glad that he's doing what he's doing. That's what you want to see out of every person that graduates from your school. They have the tools to do exactly what he's doing. Some of them really step up and do that. So that's the plan. You just keep multiplying. Next work is Sri Lanka. They've had a hard year financially as their whole economy has collapsed. India came in and bailed them out, but they've had some really, really tough times. The church is still doing good there, but they've had a really tough time financially. Most people are farmers. Most live and work on these tea plantations up in the mountains or other farms once you get down in the southern parts. I'm sorry, the lower elevations. And this is Brother Harold and Lonnie Thomas up on the top. They were wealthy. They said they're very wealthy, and they said now we're very poor. And that's not a problem. That's not a problem for them to be poor. They're just saying it's a lot harder for them to do what they did before. So pray for them. As they direct, as Harold is directing the work up there, doing the school, the programs that we have there. Brother Mohan is on the bottom. He lives in the northern part of that country working with a different language group. And that's one that P.R. Swami actually got started up from South India. Also have work in East Malaysia. This is the last one of our places to really open up from COVID-19. It's crazy that we even talk about it. But they just now relaxed all their COVID laws and are allowing people to legally worship together, to be in groups of people to study and worship God. But my dad and Jamie and my brother, they were able to make a trip there earlier this year and visit with them. We also have work in South America. Only about 5% of what we do goes down there. So I'll just kind of go through these pictures right here. But we do help with programs, radio programs in the mountains. You can get guinea pig. It is on the menu. They say it tastes like chicken, but I have not tried it. I'm kind of adventurous, but when I show these slides, I realize I guess I'm not that adventurous with my food. My daughter is more adventurous. She has eaten this, and she's actually coming back from Estonia. She's on a mission trip in Estonia near Russia. And we'll be picking her up on our way home tomorrow. So pray for her that goes well. We have a lot of seminars, a lot of ongoing programs. These things happen year-round. So we've got radio programs and different follow-up programs from that. We have training programs up in the mountains of near Cusco. This building on the left is actually a school building where we have dorms and everything like that. And we do help them with this. Traveling classroom in Brazil. They'll pull that thing up and just ask if people want to study, and the sides of that truck just pull out, and it's a classroom, and so it's got air conditioner, and people come in and study every night. When they leave, they'll stay there for about a month, and then they'll go on to the next town. When they leave, there'll be a congregation that meets there. So it's pretty neat. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed, and how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard, and how shall they hear without a preacher, and how shall they preach unless they are sent? And so I thank y'all so much for sending us. We could not do what we do without your help. All the guys in Burma could not go where they go without your help. You are sending us, you're sending them, you're making this possible for us to do this work. And it all rolls into one big thing. Because you're helping with Burma, that allows us to do work in this place, and this place, and this place. So that's why we report on all of it. Y'all are responsible for helping us do every one of the things that we're doing. So thank you so much for what you do to help us. We'll watch a video, and then I'll have a few closing thoughts after that.
Dili kita maaram kung walay Biblia, di kita maaram kung paano mataluwas ang tao. Kung walay Biblia, di kita maaram kung paano lipayon ng Diyos. Kung walay Biblia, di kita maaram kung paano ang tunay nga pagsimba. Amen? Makita din mo mga kabuktuhan, ang yan ang panahon, usa ka demonstration nga ginadako ang pagkaka-ignorante sa Biblia. Tungod handa mo makalain niya lang kung ibang magsimba. Gananong rason, dili hira tunay, man gusto ni ginamit ato, ikaw kung magsubuhan, ang ngaran ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo, para sa kasiluan ng magsulat. Congratulations, brother. Ito na kita, Ginoo. Really, o bang? Oo. Ang tatay na, brother.
These last few minutes, I want y'all to just think about your life. We're not offering an invitation, but I just want you to think about where you stand with the Almighty God. I hope that the video helped you to see how things are, helped inspire you. Hope it did something. In these last minutes, I'll tell you a story to help you put things into perspective. My parents were in the Philippines earlier in the year, and they had gone to Olongo Island. I'm sorry. They were in the Philippines, and they were asked to go to Olongo Island. This is a little island that is that was just very near Cebu City where they were staying, where we had our classes. They had been out all week. And a typhoon had come through there earlier, a couple of years before, and completely destroyed everything. So it completely wiped that island out. And we had some relief groups. We've got a team from the Philippines that gets together with doctors and evangelists, and they will respond to these different medical situations like this. And they had gone over there. We had sent money. A lot of churches in our area helps out when things like this happen. And they had gone over there, and they had done relief work, and a church had been planted there. And so they had asked Mom and Daddy if they wanted to go over and see it, because they had a day off before they went back home. And so Mom and Daddy said, sure. So they got on the taxi here, or on the boat that goes over to Olongo Island, and then they got on this little taxi on the right, and they got to this little group that was meeting there. And it was in the middle of the week, and they didn't even realize that they were going to be having anything going on there. But when they got there, they were having a ladies' day. All these women were there, and so they kind of changed their plans and did a singing with all of them together. And they got to talking to the members there, and they met this man. And he was a student at the Philippine Institute of Biblical Studies. He had moved over there, and we didn't even know that. We train people, and then they go out and they do whatever they do. And so this is what he had decided to do. And so we're real excited about that he was working with this new congregation there, and they met his wife, Jessica. Jessica was working with the women. We found out that neither one of them actually live on this island. They take that same little ferry like Mom and Daddy took, and they get over there, and they work with this church. But they make several trips a week over there. And so they would go over there. She's a school teacher in the day, and then a couple of nights of the week they would have special meetings for the women, and then on Saturday they would do something, and then they would worship with them on Sunday. So they had a lot of programs that they're doing. It's been a really good work for them. But as they were talking to Jessica, they realized that if she wasn't looking right at them, she didn't even know they were talking. They realized, I think this woman is hard of hearing. I think she's having trouble hearing us. And so the more they talked to her, they realized that she was had pretty bad ears. And so anyway, after everything was over, they went back to Cebu City, and were getting ready to leave. But they were talking to Jessica. Mama had exchanged numbers with her, so they were texting each other back and forth. And somehow that came up in conversation about her hearing loss. And so she did tell them, yes, I can't hear. I can hardly hear anything at all. I'm going deaf. And it happened a few years ago, and Mom and Daddy asked if she had been to the doctor to see if she could try hearing aids, or if there's anything that could be done. And she said she went when it happened a few years before. It was all very sudden. And she went, they tried hearing aids on and all that stuff, and she said they worked then. And she said, what about now? I mean, would you like to go back and see if this would work? And she said, sure, I'll go. So she goes to the doctor. This is a picture of the group right here. So she goes to the doctor, and she texts them back afterwards. Mom and Daddy are still in the Philippines. So she got on it. She went real quick. And she said they tried on some hearing aids, and they did work. So all that worked, and she could get hearing aids, and it would help. She said the problem is they're $1,900. And so Mom and Daddy talk to each other, and then they send her a message back and say, we'll pay for it. We will pay, because what you're doing is important. It's important that you're doing this women's ministry, that you're working with this church, that you're helping your husband, that y'all are doing all the things that you're doing, and also teaching in her day job. And she sent them a message back that basically said, I appreciate you wanting to help me with my hearing loss, but if you gave me $1,900, I would not stick it in my ears. She said, we're on an island of 100,000 people, and we've got this one little church down on the side of on the corner of the island. We want a location right on the central part of this island where we can train people and people can come in and we can train workers and they can go out and we can plant hundreds, maybe 100 congregations all over this place. I live in a city or an area of about 140,000 people, and we've got over 100 congregations there. Over 100 congregations. And, you know, you think about that, there's one congregation for 100,000 people. And they're thinking, we can spread the gospel all over there. And she said, if you gave me money, I would put it on the building that we're trying to build. And so Mom and Daddy got talking, and they sent her a message back and said, how about we pay for your building and we pay for your hearing aids? And so then we get, Daddy says that the husband took these pictures. I don't know if at this point they were FaceTiming each other. I don't know, but anyway, we somehow have these pictures because I wasn't actually a part of this. But we have these pictures. This is early in the conversation. This is when we're talking about ears, and this is when we're talking about a building, building this building for them so that they can have this place in the middle of the country. In the middle of that island. You would have thought that we had offered this woman $1 million. You would have thought that we had given her the whole world. But all we did was give her $5,000 to build her a little concrete shed, a little concrete building so that they could be inside. They've already built it. It's already built. What I want you to think about right now in these last few minutes while we're here tonight is, what is your everything? What is your everything? What matters to you? What matters? What mattered to this woman was not her own body, was not her own hearing, not her own senses. It was that other people would hear about Jesus Christ, so that the people of her country, the people of this island, would hear about Jesus Christ and know that he lived and died for them. That was her everything. That is her everything. What is your everything? What are you concerned with? What do you care about? What do you sacrifice for? What do you care about? And we're not offering an invitation, so this is for you to take with you wherever you go. Wherever you go. If this is something that you need to change, if Jesus Christ is not your everything, then I beg you to make some changes in your life and make Him number one. We don't have idols like they have in all the pictures that they have. That's not a problem that we have here in the United States. We don't walk down the street and see these little shrines with idols and people worshiping and all that kind of stuff. We worship all kinds of other things. Satan is very subtle and has worked in so many ways, done a number on us Americans right here, where we have so many idols and so many things that we throw up in front of Jesus and put in front of Him and put all these things in front of God. If we have anything in front of God before Him, I beg of you to tear that down, tear that idol down, throw it away, and make Jesus actually our Lord and Savior. Let's close with a prayer. Our Father in heaven, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you for the opportunities that we've had tonight to come here together and discuss the work that this congregation is helping us with. God, please help us as we contemplate our life and think about the things that we do and the choices that we make. God, please help us to put you number one in our lives. Help you to be the main thing. Help us to fall in love with you if we are not already in love with you. Help us to fall in love with you and to give ourselves to you. God, we love you and we thank you so much that you sent your Son Jesus into this earth and He gave His life for us. God, please help us to do the same thing for you. God, we love you. We thank you so much that Jesus did what He did. God, please forgive us of our sins. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.